Oh, hey Tyler. Hey,
Go Birds!
nice to see you on this Super Sunday.
Chiefs are
Um,
cheaters.
oh man, that you know what, Tyler? I can't have this.
Da!
Listen, all
Blasphemy.
right. Um, this hat was literally laying around my house. I have no clue where it came from. There's a Bears one too. I think my grandpa had it for some reason. I'm not really sure. He's not a Chiefs fan. Um, but I knew it was gonna come in useful one day. Today's that day. All right, today's the
My
day.
God. Are you actually cheering for the Chiefs in the Super Bowl?
No, I don't care until they start playing with bats and balls. I don't care what happens. Yeah, I legitimately could not care less what happens today. I'm interested to see if somehow Kendrick Lamar finds a way to on live TV assassinate Drake, but that's literally it. Like, because I don't. That's the only worst thing you could do to that man at this point.
Is,
So
is that
that
the is that the halftime show? I don't even know
yeah.
who's doing the halftime
Yeah,
show.
you're not going to be excited about it. That's not your it's not your cup of tea. Definitely not your shot of whiskey. So,
Oh my God. Would it kill him to do a rock band like once?
um, yeah, I mean, financially, yeah, probably it would kill
Oh,
him to do a
probably
rock
would, wouldn't
band.
it?
But I mean, I would. Look. I like all kinds of music, so I would love to hear whatever. But I don't. When they do like the pop, I don't. I'm not a big fan of that. So whenever it's
Um,
the Jennifer Lopez's and the Taylor Swift of the world, that's what I'm like. I don't really care. So
I got to be honest. I'm surprised Taylor Swift isn't doing it. They already knew the Chiefs were going. The refs knew.
yeah,
The Chiefs knew.
I mean, I feel like her star may be a little too big, so maybe a little too big for the Super Bowl even somehow. But unless they put like Ed Sheeran on the Super Bowl, I wouldn't care. I don't. I just it doesn't matter to me. Ed Sheeran's the
ACDC
goat though.
bus.
Oh, so no, look, I could do if there was a rock band that was as big this year as Kendrick Lamar was in most other people's worlds, not yours, Tyler, in most other people's worlds. If there was a rock band doing those kind of numbers, if there was another Jonas Brothers, One Direction, kind of numbers from a rock band, sure, they'd give them the Super Bowl, but they just unfortunately
You're
don't get those kind of numbers.
You're 100% right because the older I'm getting, the more and more obscure that I'm seeing like my death metal and fucking
Yeah.
classic rock
Yep.
and like it's just there's such a small compared to pop and rap and even
Yep.
country is blowing everything out of the
Yeah.
water.
Your next not rap Super Bowl will be a country one for sure.
Oh,
It'll be
100%.
it'll be
Luke Combs or
well,
something.
I don't know if they can do Waylon, but it'd be one of those guys, those one of those new studs that they got. I
Oh,
think it'll be
Jelly
that.
Roll was huge.
I guess yeah, Jelly Roll. I can see him doing it in a year. I see
Yeah.
that Benton Boone guy. I think he's going to be probably next year or something if they can hook him because that dude was electric at the Grammys.
But we won't
Anyway,
get Mudvayne. That's for sure. We will not get
we're not
Mudvayne.
getting Mudvayne. I'm not getting Avenged Sevenfold. I know it's not hard rock, but I
Hard
like
enough.
Avenged Sevenfold.
I
I'm
like
not
them.
getting them. Okay, good. Yeah. So I saw them in Chicago one time, and it was like the greatest show of my life. Them and Disturbed.
I saw Avenged Sevenfold back in 20. I was living in Menominee.
Yeah.
We were friends. Yeah.
Yeah. Yeah.
No,
That probably was. It was probably before that, but it was probably
it
the
was at
one.
Rockfest. It was whatever Rockfest
Yeah.
my first year in Menominee was. They played there.
That was the one I was supposed to go to, and I didn't. We went down to the Roar Fest in Chicago and saw that one.
Oh,
But I was
that's
living up
probably
there.
better though. The smaller shows for like rock bands and stuff that people
Mhm.
are going to see that specific band,
Yeah.
way better than going
Yeah.
to a rock fest where you got half the people there to see Chevelle, half the people there to see Avenged Sevenfold, that one dude in the back that showed up for Jelly Roll. Like,
Right. The Wu-Tang Clan, which coming out with a new album, Wu-Tang Clan. So any hip hop heads
really?
out there. But yeah, I just saw it. They're like coming together. Avengers Assemble, they said. They're coming back. So
They've been
that's pretty
a
cool.
long time.
Yeah. Well, when we get
Um,
to our rumors, speaking of music, I got one for us for that. But I've gotten us far enough off track, but I'm gonna keep wearing this hat. So let's get this bad boy started. Let's welcome everybody.
um,
Kayfabe Marks podcast.
I don't even
My
know
name's
what
Adam.
episode this is.
This is 6. Technically, yeah,
It's
6 like
technically 7.
legit episodes. Yeah, so
Yeah.
my name's Adam. That is Tyler. And we're about to talk about some
And
stuff.
before we even kick anything off, a newer fan had given some feedback about the podcast, and it sounds like because of our podcast, we got him back into weekly watching, and we got a big fan, which is fucking awesome.
That's too
Um,
cool, man.
yeah, it's Zach from Maple Grove, Minnesota.
Well, Zach, welcome to the dark side. I hope you
Yeah.
hate the New Day, and I hope you hate Rey Mysterio. And I hope you love Opa Femi. That's it. That's all I got for you.
And if you like Logan Paul, shut this fucking shit off.
Just, you know what? You can like Logan Paul. If you check our Twitter, I put something special up for Tyler on that. But you can like Logan Paul if you want to. Man, don't let him bully you. All right? You just cannot like Rey Mysterio or the New Day.
Oh my god. All right. So today we decided to start backwards, and we're going to go with our top botches before we cover Raw and SmackDown.
Yeah, so we were kind of coming up with some ideas for this week, and this was one that my lovely wife gave us an idea for, and I knew Tyler was super excited about it before we ever even started this. This was something he said he wanted to do. So I don't think there's any better time than the present. You want to start?
Yeah.
Give me one, I'll give you one.
Yeah, let's do that. So my number one, which...
Okay, we're starting at the top.
At the top. The 2005 Royal Rumble, John Cena and Batista both get eliminated at the exact same time.
Yeah.
There's confusion in the ring. The one ref is raising Cena's hand, one ref is raising Batista's hand, and then you see Vince McMahon's face redder than a baboon's ass coming down the frickin' ramp, whips his jacket down, and as he tries to slide into the ring, boom, blows out both of his quads. So now he's sitting there, leaning on the rope, sitting, yelling, still looking menacing somehow, being half the size of everybody in there.
Yeah.
They restart the match, and I believe Batista won, right?
Yeah, I believe so. Yeah.
Yeah. So there's multiple botches in one little spot.
Yeah, I was gonna say awesome because that was my number 2. So my number 2 was the entire ending in the 2005 Royal Rumble. So because it was an absolute clusterfuck. So I agree with you. That one was horrible. My number 1 is just because it's my favorite botch of all time. Not really a botch, just kind of an oops. But it's Titus O'Neil at that Super Royal Rumble when he went under the ring. When he went all the way under the ring. That to me, like I think about it sometimes when I'm having a bad day, and it just makes me laugh. So I can watch that video over and over.
They named that botch. It's called the Titus O'Neil World Slide because his big catchphrase was worldwide forever.
Listen, and I think the way he handled it too was just awesome, and like everything that happened afterwards was cool because that was pretty embarrassing, but it was that's my favorite one, favorite botch of all time.
He is a class act, though. He definitely
absolutely is.
Yeah. My next one is I couldn't tell you what freaking year it was. It had to have been maybe 2021 or 2022, but it's the AEW death match between Moxley and Kenny Omega.
Yeah.
Where they have just a brutal match, a great match. Mm-hmm. And then at the very end, when the ring is supposed to explode, you have Mox laying in the middle of the ring, and then you have why am I spacing on his name right now? Fuck. Who is Mox's buddy in AEW? He hasn't been on in a hot second.
Yeah. I know the guy, the New York guy.
Yeah.
Oh shit! What is his name?
People are screaming it at their phones and TVs right now.
I know. Yeah, both of you guys are really upset with us. Oh damn it! Hold on.
Shit.
No, and it's right there. It's like on the tip of my tongue. I think
Eddie Kingston.
Yes, Eddie Kingston. I was typing in caps for some reason, like a very old angry man. Yeah, Eddie Kingston. I'm sorry. folks,
Late.
we here at Kayfabe podcast are prepared.
Oh, there's a botch right here on its own.
Yeah, there we go. Botch in the botches. That's why this stuff stays in. We're like Jacob Fatu, uncut, raw, off the
It's true.
scale. We
So
don't
at the
edit.
end of the match, Moxley's in the middle of the ring. Kingston lays on top of him like he's trying to protect him, and then the explosion happens where it was a couple sparklers.
Yeah,
It was like
yeah.
the crowd booed. Kingston looked around like, "What the fuck was that?"
No.
Moxley was pissed, and even Drew McIntyre took a shot at it that next following Monday Night Raw when he said something about sparks fly or something like that in his promo.
Drew's been a menace on Twitter for a very long time. X, whatever the shit it is, for a very long time. Yeah, the problem with that match was that it was a really, really good match with a really, really compelling story, and it was like laid out perfectly. Those wrestlers were just betrayed by subpar production. That's what sucks about that. And I don't even know that it was subpar. It could have just been an accident, but
I don't know. Shit.
Yeah, that wouldn't have happened in the Federation. I'll tell you that.
Oh, no.
But it's that botch. The one thing that does suck about that was because it was the AEW match that kind of got my attention in AEW. So I was like, well, that's compelling as shit. Like that's a good story. Yeah. And Moxley is one of the best in the business, in my opinion, at it. So him in WWE right now would be ridiculous. But
it would.
But I think he's doing the right thing for himself. So 100%. But yeah, no, I agree with you on that one. That one is, I didn't add that to mine. I kind of stuck mine to WWE just because I know him better. But that is one that I knew was a huge, huge, huge. And that really that kind of halted AEW's momentum for a while, I feel like.
It did.
Yeah, that hurt them. So, well, my third, and this is again, I mean, we are doing these in order of favorites, and this is another guilty pleasure of mine. When Hogan was not able to start Undertaker's motorcycle, that to me is one of my favorite botches of all. Any chance I get to take a dig at Hogan, I'm going to. And this one, because he just tries so hard to be cool, and he talks about how he rides these things all the time. And when it counted, he couldn't get it done. And if that is the epitome of Hogan, that's a microcosm of what Hogan is in that very moment. So it's one of my favorite matches.
I love it. I do remember that too. He looked like
yeah, just stupid.
So this should surprise no one. I just put every Sin Cara entrance ever.
Yeah. Oh my Lord.
And then I put a side note, broken finger.
Yes.
Or dislocated finger, whatever. I know Del Rio started kicking his ass for real after that, though. I do remember that.
Yeah, Sin Cara, oh God, he was supposed to be great too. I wasn't even watching when Sin Cara debuted, and I heard about him. So that tells you everything you need to know about what he was supposed to be.
Yeah, it didn't turn out that way.
No, that did not turn out well. But his entrances, that's rough.
The amount of times he just why the trampoline? Why can't you just come out and be normal?
Just jump up onto the side like everybody else does. Like, it's cool, sure, but just jump up like everybody else. The one time he landed
it was really cool.
Yeah. Yeah. Like you have the trampoline already, which defies the whole point of this thing. And then with that trampoline, you still can't land your entrance ever. So
and then the
Sin Cara is a botch. He's a botch. Yeah.
WWE didn't learn their fucking lesson, and Kalisto started doing the trampoline thing.
Yes.
And his dad couldn't get over the rope either.
I was gonna say, and his was even worse. So, but when you're the first to suck, you gotta own that.
Yeah. Jesus.
My next one is another old one. It was Angle versus Shane McMahon, that street fight at the King of the Ring. I think it was like 2002. Somewhere in that frame.
2001, I think.
2001.
Maybe it was 02, but yeah.
They couldn't get the glass to break. But like, I felt like as much as that was a botch, because it made that match badass. So
yeah. I
Yeah, I
think
mean
that
that.
botch made that match what it
Right.
was.
Yeah. I mean,
Yeah.
because I mean, those two can put on a show anywhere in the world, and they're going to put on a show. But that, from both of them having that hard hitting, you know, really kind of, I thought. I mean, Kurt Angle was Kurt Angle and will always be Kurt Angle, but it put
Yeah.
Shane in another stratosphere.
He definitely earned a lot of respect, and his dad was furious. I remember hearing about that, but that was supposed to be sugar glass, but
Yep.
it kept blowing out because the pyrotechnics kept exploding the sugar glass. So then they switched it to fucking regular glass and then didn't tell
Didn't
Shane
just
McMahon or
didn't tell
Kurt Angle.
anybody. Oh yeah, that was. I mean, again, a botch, but really, it turned out really great.
It did. It did.
Yeah.
God, which one do I want to pick next?
Well, while you think about it,
I wrote down a lot.
it's it's a Super Bowl, so I gotta get started a
You
little
and
early.
my wife today. Holy shit. I looked
Listen,
at Cassie. I was like, it's 2 PM. She goes, yeah.
oh,
So
she's
what?
starting late.
I,
Starting late. I work from
um,
home tomorrow.
yeah, see, you're good. I do
Yeah,
not.
you do not. No.
God damn it. All right, I'm going to go with the Whisper in the Wind
Yeah.
that hit nobody. If you remember, it was another Saudi show. It was Jeff Hardy versus Jinder Mahal. He jumps up to do the Whisper in the Wind, fucking misses by like 2 feet, and then Jinder Mahal just kind of looks around and then goes, ugh, and falls
Yeah.
down anyway.
Yeah. You know, I think it really tells you who you're in the ring with because everybody's going to do it. You know, it's going to happen. You know, you're gonna miss. You're gonna come up a little short. But it's really what your partner does with it that you know determines whether it's a botch or not. And so I almost put that botch on Jinder a little bit. I mean, obviously
Yeah.
it's Jeff, but you know what I mean. But
He should have just jumped on Jeff and started stomping him, and
yeah,
everybody been like,
like
"Oh, Jeff missed the move." Instead,
yeah,
with the Whisper in the Wind that hit nobody.
haha, you missed. Yeah, it's almost. I mean, the finger poke of doom is the only thing worse than that. So
Yeah, God.
um, ooh, you know how many? What are we at? Is this? Have we done 3 each?
3 each. Yeah.
Okay. Let's do. I'm taking you guys back today. We're going back. Not too far. Not too far. But just literally 23 years. So, do you remember the Elimination Chamber where Triple H's throat got just crushed?
By Rob Van Dam. Yeah.
Yeah, I watched that one the other day because we were talking about the botches and stuff. So yesterday, and I was like, I remember that one having a bunch of weird stuff happen, and really the whole match was kind of a botch. Like the ring was falling apart. Like it was really a crappy match, from start to finish, and an unfortunate one because of how bad Triple H got hurt. So,
Shawn Michaels won that one, right?
I think so. Yeah, yeah.
Yeah, if it's the one I'm thinking of. And Shawn Michaels didn't want to win it, and he did not want to be the champion.
And he pinned Triple H, I'm pretty sure too. Like I think
yeah.
Like Triple H stayed in and finished that entire match.
Yeah, he did have something actually wrong with his throat. I think it was, wasn't it Rob's shin landed on his throat?
Came down and crushed his windpipe. Yeah, like it was. I mean, I don't know if it crushed his windpipe, but it was whatever happened. It was bad. And he finished the match. So that was one that just looking back on, I remember seeing that match live, on TV, but looking back on it now, it's a completely different match for me.
Yeah. All right. So I got a couple to pick from here.
We got 2 more, I think. I have one more each.
I wrote down extras.
Okay.
So let's go with the promo that Booker T when he was with Harlem Heat cut in WCW.
Yeah, that what's a botch in WCW was a bit in WWE.
Yeah.
So that's just that was I am surprised it doesn't happen more often.
Honestly, yeah. I am also surprised. That's the only time I can think of that it happened.
Yeah, I mean anything. I mean, I probably would have heard of it by now because they always do it every couple of years. They run that out again. So No, I don't know of any other time that it was at least recorded and stayed that way because, yeah, and I'm shocked that that is the only, like, the first or last time that that happened on a big stage. So,
So for those of you that don't know what we're talking about, Booker T was cutting a promo with his brother
yeah.
towards Hogan, slips up the N word, and then you immediately see Booker put his hands over his face. Sensational Sherry's with him, and she's like looking at him like, "Oh shit."
And everybody's like, we haven't heard that word since Hogan said it last. So, you can't be saying that. They're like, we've never heard that word with a softer ending like that.
Yeah, no,
Oh,
not like Hogan. No.
oh,
It's
Hogan.
only not Hulk Hogan.
Yeah, but that one, no, that is that one, and I'll throw out an honorable mention of the Steiner brothers and the with the math. I cannot remember. Was
Steiner
that
man.
Yeah, Steiner math? That
Scott
one was
Steiner in TNA. Or
hilarious.
yeah, Scott Steiner in TNA.
Yeah, that one was hilarious. I'm not even going to sit here and pretend like I can recite what he said or any of that because I don't even think he knew what he was talking about. But I mean, he thought he knew what he was talking about, and I 100% believe like he went into that like this shit makes sense, and then like said it out loud and was like, "This shit doesn't make sense. I need to start
So
saying this stuff out loud." So my
that is a
last
good.
one,
All right.
my last one, has got to be the most tragic one of all time, and that is Ridge Holland's bitch ass hurting the goat Big E. That is, listen, I always loved Ridge Holland. I loved Fight Night. I loved the crew, but you took out my guy. You took out Big E. And that one, and then there was others. There was others. I know he was going through a hard time for a while with that stuff, but so hopefully we get Big E back, and I can go back to loving Ridge Holland again. But until I get Big E back, you're on my list, big boy.
That's a good one, actually. I didn't even think to write that one down.
Oh, it made me mad. It still sits with me. I wake up
I've
every
never
couple of
seen
nights.
somebody land directly flat on their head like that, especially somebody
Oh,
Big E's size.
it was so bad, so bad. I mean, you had that one with like the Undertaker where he dove out of the ring and kind of landed like that, but like, and that would knock the Undertaker out for a little bit. That was one that I was gonna put on here, but yeah, that Big E one was just, and I knew it. Like when I saw it, I was like, oh, that didn't look good. That didn't look good
No.
at all. And Rich Holland, bless his heart, man. If he's had how many years where he hasn't hurt a person at all, but man, he went through a bad patch and he messed up when he hurt Big E. So now I got to get
Yeah.
you
Yeah, I think he'll always be marked by that, at least until Big E comes back. But
for
he's
sure.
still, what
Yeah,
are we on, 3 years now?
yeah. Heaven forbid Big E doesn't come back and that was his career. Rich Holland will be the GOAT, like in a bad way, the original way people use the GOAT, the old Chicago Cubs GOAT for that for sure.
Yeah. All right, I'll do one more. WrestleMania 39, the impromptu match between Shane McMahon and The Miz, accompanied by Snoop Dogg. Shane McMahon jumps up to
Yeah.
do the over, what is it, the leapfrog,
Oh,
lands,
from like
completely blows out his quad.
yeah. just like I mean like you couldn't write it that well.
No,
Like you know what I mean? Like you just couldn't write it as well as that. I mean, you blow up both the quads in a big match. Your dad did the same thing. So
and hats off to Snoop Dogg for
mhm.
getting in the ring and kind of figuring out what was going on, and then dropping the people's elbow on the Miz and giving the fans still something. But yeah,
Yeah.
Shane was messed up after that.
Yeah, that one sucked because that one is when I realized that we're all getting old. It's when
Oh
when
god,
Shane, because I idolized Shane. I mean, as a kid, because he just did the craziest stuff, man. And I was like, this dude is literally an inheriting a billionaire. He's gonna be a billionaire when he inherits his money or whatever. And he's out here just jumping from coast to coast and off Hell in the Cells, and I mean, I've always been impressed with him. So that's kind of the one that hurt even more than watching the other botch match of the year, the Undertaker and Kane versus Triple H and Shawn Michaels. Like that was painful, but seeing Shane hurt like that was way worse to me.
Yeah. I agree. Do you want to do wrestling news and then we'll hit Raw and you can
Yeah,
hit
yeah, we
SmackDown?
could do some wrestling news.
All right.
We're taking a dive into the tea, I hear over here, man. You've been right. What do you got?
So WWE releases 10 superstars out of nowhere.
Crazy, crazy.
First on the list is AOP, Akam, and Razor or
Yeah,
Razor, whatever the hell his name
Razor.
was.
Yeah, Razor.
They were part of Final Testament
Mm-hmm.
with Karrion Kross, and I actually did uncover some more stuff, finding out that AOP was purposefully put with Karrion Kross because the second that AOP was rehired in the company, they had heat. They had heat with everybody in the locker room because the first time they had gotten fired, they what does it say here? They tried to do some business venture and have a bunch of the boys in the locker room invest into it. It didn't work
Yeah.
out, and the boys never got their money back. And AOP kind of just was like, no.
Huh. Yeah. See, I didn't. I mean, yeah, I didn't know that. I've always been a fan of AOP. I've always been a fan of what they could do, but
Yeah.
they've never really gotten a good push. But if they're dirtbags like that, that kind of sucks. That sucks to hear because I was a big fan of theirs.
So the reason that they were put with Karrion Kross is because Karrion Kross is, despite his character, he's actually known as one of the nicest guys in the locker
For sure.
room. So
Yeah,
you
for
put
sure.
two dudes with that much heat with the nicest guy in the locker room that gets along with everybody. I think WWE management was trying to hope, like, I mean, look at Karrion likes him, so it can't be that
Yeah.
bad.
Like let him rub off on him a little bit, and I
Yeah.
think Karrion is definitely a kind of guy that the WWE needs because he's somebody that can mentor some of those younger guys. He can take in the and not on screen or anything like that, but just behind the stage, and he feels like the kind of guy who would love to do it, but take in like a Braun Breaker and just show some of those guys because Carrion's been on the hard road, man. He's done this the
Mhm.
hard way. And so really even with like AOP and those guys, like they were both cut from the company not that long ago.
No,
Paul
yeah.
Ellering and AOP and Carrion was gone and all of them. So I'm interested to see what they do next with Carrion because he's just too good of a guy, like character to he could do whatever. I mean, just let him cook, but he's just too good of a personality to have sitting on the couch. So I hope they do something awesome with him.
Yeah, I do wonder if they're going to keep him off screen for a little bit so people forget about AOP before reintroducing him, or if they're just going to run with it. He does
Yeah.
have that
Well,
thing going with the Miz. So,
yeah, that's so weird though.
um, Paul Ellerling, another one that
Yeah.
was released with AOP, but that doesn't really need any explanation.
I thought
Cedric
Paul Ellering was
Alexander,
good. Yep.
which I got to be honest, I didn't know Cedric Alexander was still at the company.
Well, he was with Javon Evans for a while, but when he was with Javon Evans, that was the first I had seen of him in a long time, and so I
Yeah.
was kind of shocked to see he was there too. I thought he would have gone somewhere else by then for
No.
sure. But I've never been a Cedric Alexander fan. I thought they tried too hard, like he tried too hard. When with the Hurt Business and before that, and I just his voice drives me crazy, just like nails on a chalkboard. So I've never just really been a fan of his. But I mean, the dude, I guess, was a good guy, a decent dude, because he spent time in NXT working with Javon Evans and those guys. So,
So speaking of the Hurt Business, allegedly AEW is already trying to get him to sign with them to
oh,
join the
for
Hurt
sure.
Syndicate, the
Yeah,
AEW's version of the Hurt Business.
yeah, for sure. Yeah,
Which
and I
I
saw,
would.
yeah.
This one shocked the hell out of me. Sonya Deville.
Yeah, I mean, something had to have happened because they were all in stuff constantly. But I'm telling you, I was so over that group. I'm shocked it was, I'll put it to you like this. I'm shocked it was just Sonya Deville. The fact that Shayna Baszler is still in the WWE is wild to me. Not that she's not a good worker, but she just isn't, she doesn't have a personality to back it
Yeah.
up. And there's nobody you can really, so far, there hasn't been anybody you can put with her to elevate her to that. They tried with Ronda, but Ronda had a crap, crap person. She
Yeah.
wasn't good on the mic either.
Well,
So,
all the fans too heard what the shit that Ronda was saying about wrestling fans and everything else, and it's like,
yeah.
yeah, we get one crowd booed you, but now you're gonna sit and call all the wrestling fans like pieces of shit and stuff. It's like now you're gonna get booed everywhere.
I thought the WWE really missed the boat on that. I thought again, it would have been cheesy and probably really expected, and smart fans would have hated it for sure. I probably would have hated it if it actually happened, but um, they could have done some kind of like MMA faction, some kind of Ultimate Fighting faction, and had the horsewomen of MMA in there, and then had it's like even if it is kind of a more women dominated faction, like that's fine. You had
Yeah.
Matt Riddle who was legit, at the time. You could have thrown him in there. You could always have somebody like Brock Lesnar float in and out, not necessarily part of the faction, but backs him up a couple times or something. Um,
Shinsuke has an MMA background.
Shinsuke with his background, you could have done some things with that. And it was hot. It was real hot with Ronda, and I just didn't think they struck the iron while it was hot. But
And I've been saying it for a while now. Zoe Stark is too talented to be on a team. She needs to be on her
anyway,
own.
yeah, let that woman fly. Because
Yep.
listen, I love Lyra Valkyria, but she couldn't hold Zoe at all. Like Zoe to me is a way better in ring performer than almost any of the up and coming women right now.
Yeah, she's good and underutilized, and I
Mhm.
do hope that maybe with Sonya Deville's release, maybe they are gonna do something with her. But something also tells me that they're just gonna fucking pair Shayna Baszler and Zoe Stark with Nia Jax now.
Yeah,
You know,
and it's gonna be, yeah, it's gonna be, unfortunately, because there's just really if they would have, if they wanted to. You know what
yeah,
I mean? Like if they wanted to do something with her, they would have done it already. And it sucks because I feel like she's kind of typecasted now. But her problem is the same. She just doesn't really have a very good, aura on the camera. She doesn't, draw you in. But there's very few female wrestlers out there right now, women wrestlers who do. Because that I have that in my notes for SmackDown. Yeah, it's hard. There's only so many Beckys out there. There's only so many right now Nias out there that can really still bring you in on the mic, and Zoe just doesn't have it to a really deep level. So,
yeah, she does need work, but I think again, being in a team has kind of stifled her that way, where
you
she's
know,
not getting reps in.
yeah, because she wasn't terrible in NXT. She just wasn't very. I mean, she's not Shayna Baszler. Shayna Baszler is horrid on the microphone. Like it, I would never tell her to her face. Not one time would I tell her
No,
to her
she would
face.
fuck
But
me up in a second.
yeah, as long as she doesn't have to see me, I will say she was horrible on the mic. But if she asks me in person, I'm going to tell her she's The Rock. Probably better.
Um, Blair Davenport.
Yeah, that doesn't surprise me. Second, second,
Isla
third time.
Dawn, gone.
Yeah, that one kind of does surprise me a little bit.
What's her
Well,
tag team partner's name again?
Alba Fire.
Alba Fire, and she's still there.
Yeah, yeah, she's still there, and I mean, Alba Fire is another level. She's another one like a Zoe Stark that needs to be put on her own and let her just
Yeah.
go. Isla Dawn was kind of trapped into a tag team mentality, but
Yeah, well, they were tag team champions like 3 months ago.
mm-hmm.
Just crazy. It's
Yeah,
just I'm not understanding all
yeah,
these.
I think
Uh,
she's headed over to AEW for sure. Isla Dawn is.
yeah, I know Blair Davenport already put something up about going back to Japan.
Yeah, that's where
Um,
she needs to be. She was huge in Japan.
Giovanni Vinci.
Doesn't surprise me. Man, they really
No, me
buried him in
neither.
a hurry. I don't know what happened. Like, who did he piss off? What happened? because
He definitely pissed somebody off because he was with
Ludwig
the
is
Imperium.
balling. Yeah, and like was an integral part, and probably arguably one of the better of the in-ring workers of all three of them.
Yeah.
And Gunther's champ and Ludwig is having big style matches. What did Giovanni do? That is I need a dirt sheet to tell me. Somebody let me know, because reach out to me, Giovanni. Tell me what happened. Tell me your story.
Yeah, no shit. And then the Good Brothers, which we all saw this coming the second they were brought back. It's
Yeah,
not going to work. It hasn't worked multiple times in the past. They leave,
that-
they come back, it doesn't work. If there's
yeah,
no
it's
AJ
so
Styles,
unfortunate.
there's no Good Brothers. AJ
Yeah,
Styles being gone caused the Good
yeah.
Brothers to get put on the back burner. Weird timing now that AJ's back to get rid of them, but yeah.
It just
So Carl Anderson and Luke Gallows gone.
sucks. It really sucks because I like those guys too. So,
I do too. I
and
like
I
their
thought,
podcast too.
yeah, and I know that like those two guys can work on their own. They don't need a big old group, but Finn is going to be out there soon, probably searching for some new people to hang around. Um, so I mean, it sucks because I thought the Good Brothers could have done something if they let them try.
Let's see. It's none of my business, but Charlotte Flair and Andrade filed for divorce.
I forgot to put that in my notes, but I ended up coming across that. That is crazy.
Yeah, that's. I mean, yeah, I don't know. I just didn't see that happening.
No, not like she just came back. Like it's like you've been gone, and Andrade came back to the WWE, and I was like, oh, they're gonna do something with him. There's gonna be something here, and then they're like, no, like they're not even together anymore. And I was like, what? Like that was a head spin. But you're right. It's none of our business what they got going on in their marriage or lack
Um,
thereof now.
the Nakamura was spotted in the background stalking The Miz during Cody and The Miz's backstage segment, which I didn't catch the first time. I actually had to go back and watch again.
Yeah.
They're not using him as much as they should be for a United States champion.
No. And so there's a couple things I have wrong with that situation. I did see the figure. I didn't know who it was. But I have a problem with the champion stalking anybody. Like, why are you hunting?
He
It
should be
just,
being hunted.
yeah, it doesn't make very much sense to me to have the champion be the hunter. Unless, I mean, you got working champions and all that, but the United States Championship's not even the working belt, man. That's the Intercontinental Championship. So, it doesn't make very much sense to me to have him stalking somebody else. Unless this is something he's trying to put together, as a team kind of thing, then okay. But if it's for like a fight, that doesn't make sense to me.
No, I really don't get it. And then I got one more here.
Yeah,
AEW fire Bear Boulder, real name Thomas Wansaw or something. I don't know how to say his last
yeah,
name.
yeah,
Of the Iron Savages after an arrest on January 14th for battery and strangulation.
yeah,
Ransaw was arrested in his home in Winter Garden, Florida, after his fiancee, who was physically battered, filed the complaint, allegedly during an argument. Wansaw had held his foot on her throat until she lost consciousness for 5 to 10 minutes.
yeah.
His career's done.
Yeah, fuck his career. I mean, like that that dude. I don't give a shit about his career. I don't give a shit about anybody who especially his size. I mean, him and I are. I mean, he's taller than I am. We're about the same size,
Yep.
and for him to first of all put his hands on somebody that much smaller than him, whether it be a man or a woman, but to put your hands on that somebody that much smaller than you, and then to actually try to choke somebody like that, and then you
With
add in
your
the
foot.
fact that it's with your foot, with all of your weight on it, I'm assuming, and then you add in the fact that it is a woman, and then you add in the fact that you supposedly care about this woman. Yeah, I don't give a shit about your career. Quite honestly, you're the scum of the earth to me. I don't need to hear the details. Like, there's nothing that she could have done or said that could have justified that reaction, unless somebody came in and gave you a sleeping pill and beat the shit out of your wife and did that to you, then I don't want to hear it.
Yeah.
So, um,
They were saying that he had taken anger management classes and stuff previously too, like not that long ago, which means this obviously was not the first time something like this happened, and this is just the
right.
worst one. She had enough.
Yeah. Yeah, that dude deserves all the things that are going to be coming to him.
Yeah,
So,
I agree.
because you're
Now that I brought the fucking
yeah.
level all the way down
Well,
to here.
no, that's all right. That's one. I'm glad you brought it up because I think people are shying away from conversations like that, and I think that more people need to hear men, especially, condemn bullshit like that, and and just flat out say like you doing that it makes you a piece of shit, and
And a
there's really
pussy.
no other and a pussy, right? Like it's we. I cannot think of a worse type of well, I can, but
Yeah,
there's very few things that match that level of depravity in my brain. So,
I
um,
agree.
but not nearly as bad, but just as disgusting to my ears is this Def Rebel blowback. Have you heard about that?
No.
Yeah, so like the well, I guess it's like this Def Rebel versus CFO like music thing because the issue is right now people feel like all the music sounds the same. You don't know who's coming out until you see them. Like the Royal Rumble was kind of weird that way. That a
Mm,
lot of the music, I was like, I don't know who that is. Until you saw the person or whatnot. And there's just been a lot of blowback about a lot of people on the Twitter field who are upset about the current scene of entrances. And I hear a lot of superstars complaining about it too.
well, that's I've been upset about that for a while now.
Yeah.
Nobody will ever be as good as Jim Johnston was.
No. No,
They
yeah,
should
you're right.
have never gotten rid of him, honestly. But yeah, I'm not feeling the glass break, and you see Stone Cold and that
Hmm.
feeling of oh shit. Punk
Yep.
luckily still gets his cult of personality. Triple H
Yep.
gets Motorhead,
Yep.
but then all this other shit is just sounds like somebody made it on their computer in 5 minutes.
Honestly, it's it is a little it does suck because there are really good like everything they do with Roman is always dope. His stuff is pretty good, but it's basic. It's not anything that like knocks the doors off. And I couldn't tell you who wrote what or who did which, but I just know the new stuff people aren't feeling.
No, besides like Jey Uso, Big
Yeah.
Jim,
Yeah,
uh,
and even if you look at those, a lot of those are even just the actual superstar themselves making those big, not the other way around. It's
right.
like even Seth Rollins, which I don't know. Again, his has been around for a while, so it could have been somebody else. But Seth Rollins made that music big, not the other way around.
I
Um,
agree.
yeah. So anyway,
Right.
I'll keep an eye on that too because that'll be interesting to see what how WWE handles entrance music coming forward. And I love entrance music. So
Yeah, me too. That's always on my gym fucking
oh
playlist on
man,
Spotify.
yeah,
All right, Monday Night Raw. Jey Uso kicked off Raw with a promo about winning the Rumble and main eventing WrestleMania, and got teary-eyed while thanking the fans and everything, which felt authentic. I liked it.
yeah, yeah.
Um,
Yeah. We kind of. It did. It felt really authentic. I just don't know. I just. I don't want it to get too stale. I
yeah,
hope that. I did. I did. It'll be interesting to see how they use it going forward because you can only do that for so long.
yeah. I mean, Cody, people really got
Exactly.
sick of him
Yeah.
coming out crying every week.
That. Yeah. It just eventually it kind of drives you nuts. So, but we'll see how they do it going forward.
Gunther interrupts and guarantees punishment unlike any other at WrestleMania if Jay decides to pick Gunther. Jey Uso also said he doesn't know who he's going to face yet, and he'll go to SmackDown to address Cody Rhodes.
Yeah.
Um, okay, I'm going to add this here. What the
Oh.
fuck is the internet talking about Jey Uso not being over? Or
Yeah,
like
I
people
think
being upset about the Rumble because the second his music hits and he comes out through the fans, the whole place is doing the yeet. I didn't
yeah.
hear one boo, not one boo.
No, and I think any boos that you may hear about Jey Uso um simply just have to do with they wanted somebody else. It has
Yep.
nothing to do with Jey. Because Jey is in my opinion, one of the most organically over people I have ever seen. Because it just came out of nowhere, and
Yep.
he rode that wave. I have a knockoff No Yeet shirt. I was gonna wear it, but I'm not trying to go to jail. So like I made it here at home. So, but like it just and even when I was making that shirt, like there was no way I thought it was gonna be as big as what all of this is now. So yeah, they're dumb if you think that.
I agree. He was getting chants of "You deserve it."
Yeah,
Gunther also had told Jay during their little spat that you can't even lace my boots, and you
right,
know it. So we'll
right.
see what happens with that. Finally, after all that, we get our first match: Penta versus Ludwig Kaiser.
Yeah,
It was another match of Penta showing out. Uh, the big news in this match was when Penta used that arm breaker on Ludwig
yeah,
Kaiser, which Michael Cole put over the moon on how
hmm
vicious it is and everything. And then Penta hits the Penta driver. It's over 1, 2, 3. You hear Pete
yeah,
Dunne's music go off during. I believe Penta was about to be interviewed,
yeah,
and you hear Pete Dunne's music go off, and then Ludwig Kaiser attacks Penta from behind with the arm that just had devastating damage done to him.
yeah,
Well, word has it the second that Ludwig went through the curtain, Triple
hmm
H got in his face and started screaming at him, saying, "You were told to sell the move. You were told during the attack to use your left arm or your non dominant arm, the other arm, to attack him." And instead, Ludwig had purposefully used the arm. And there's speculation saying that Ludwig Kaiser's pissed. He didn't want to
yeah,
go out there and put Penta over, and he purposefully did all this to try and bury Penta a little bit because allegedly, I'm saying allegedly, Ludwig
yeah.
is pissed off about his push and how Penta just showed up and is being pushed to the moon. I mean, Ludwig really hasn't done anything besides the Braun Breaker and Sheamus stuff. So
Yeah, and as much as I love Ludwig, and I do, I mean, I think the guy's very entertaining to watch, and um, Penta's a different level, like that was a huge signing for WWE, and there's going to be times when you're making your way up, and Ludwig's young. I think he's in his late 20s, maybe I think maybe mid
he's
to late
young.
20s.
He's dating
Yeah,
Tiffany Stratton. She's
man, these
young.
days that doesn't matter these
I
days.
guess not.
I don't, we can't. Yeah, that
Bill
doesn't.
Belichick. That's all I'm saying.
Yeah, it's not a qualifier, but I mean, he's young enough. He's gonna have his opportunity, and the dude's gonna develop and keep getting better. But this type of heat, you don't bounce back from, because when you try to bury somebody intentionally who did nothing to you, I
Yep.
mean, it's not his fault that the company's giving him a push. So why are you taking it out on him? Um,
Allegedly.
Allegedly, right. All of this is alleged, and because honestly, for all I know, Penta could have been a dick to him backstage and said all kinds of crazy stuff to him
Yeah.
and told him, and came across in a very jerk way. I've never heard or seen the guy act like that, so I can't
No.
imagine that. But we don't know. We don't know. But if it's up and up and you acted like a jerk for no reason, that's pretty crappy.
I mean, he could be upset that his belly button is too high on his torso. It could be that. He could be mad that one of his eyebrows is always stuck up. I don't know why he's upset.
I don't. I honestly didn't know that much about him. I did not know. I didn't know that his torso
Com-
was. I know he has a really long torso. That's about it.
Yeah, and a really high belly button,
That's
like
fair.
at
I
the
didn't
center
know
of the
that.
torso.
I did not know that. Yeah.
Now you're not going to be able to not look at it.
Yeah, I'm kind of pissed off about it because now that's all I'm going to see, and I'm going to be
Um,
upset that I'm focused on some grown man's belly button. That's not going to go well in my brain.
Oh, shit.
All right, what we got
Uh,
next?
okay. But can we make a kayfabe Mark shirt and just have it say allegedly somewhere?
Yeah, yeah.
That would be great.
Actually, that actually may cover us in some ways. So
Yeah.
yeah, we probably should.
So next we had a Charlotte promo. Flair was met with massive boos while
Yeah,
expressing how much she missed the WWE fans and how the last year had broken her physically and mentally. I'm sure the divorce isn't helping any of that either.
yeah,
And she also had told the fans that love her and hate her that she still loves them.
yeah,
Ripley interrupts, telling Flair to challenge her at Mania when Flair responded with both bringing up they've already fought twice, the score being 1 win to 1 win. They're tied. So it
right.
makes even more sense. I don't know how Flair was going to say that, like, you're tied. She brought up Julia in NXT, saying that maybe she would inspire her to, go for the
Yeah,
NXT championship. And she also called Rhea Ripley just a kid during this promo as well. Ripley got hot, heated, and repeatedly said, pick me, please pick me, so I can beat the respect into you. I thought it was a great promo.
yeah, yeah. I just, what are you gonna do with Charlotte? It's just
Have Rhea Ripley kick her ass is about it
yeah. But
now.
now then you got people complaining about that. I mean, this one is really kind of a. I mean, I I don't like the way that they have these champions coming out and begging Charlotte to pick them. Like
Yeah.
it just and honestly, even Gunther coming out to Jay when Jay's in the ring, it's just it doesn't show you need to interrupt me. I'm the champion.
Mm-hmm.
Like you should be coming to me and wanting uh uh to hope to get that opportunity against me, not me coming out to beg you to choose me for whatever reason. That's silly.
That's 3 times in a week that a champion was after someone else. There's Shinsuke in the background. There's Rhea
Yep.
coming out at Flair, and then there's Gunther at Jay. So that is weird, and it's weird that they're doing it so much.
Yeah, and I think it's weakening the champions, and maybe that's why they're doing it. Maybe they've gotta soften these champions a little bit because we're about to get a big flip. Who
Yeah,
knows?
yeah.
So
I don't know. We'll see how it plays out. This match you should have loved because everybody in this next match you were a giant fan of.
oh
It
yeah.
was Rey Mysterio and Dragon Lee versus the New Day.
Yeah, I do like Dragon Lee. I do like Dragon Lee a lot, and I did focus on that. Yeah, I wanted the worst things that could happen to happen in this match. I wanted it to be a double count out because they were tying their boots or something stupid because I don't like either. So
Okay. So it was a usual match for Ray and the New Day, especially
yeah,
the New Day.
right.
When Logan Paul had interrupted the match, distracting Rey Mysterio, and at the end of the match, Rey Mysterio went to slide in,
Mhm.
gets ripped back out by Logan Paul, which doesn't seem that devastating, and then thrown back in where the New Day end up winning, which is their
Yeah,
first win since turning heels. That's the first time they've won. They
it's
turned
crazy.
heel fucking while ago now.
That's crazy. This whole like um uh Logan Paul, I just man, I don't know if they're doing it on purpose or what, but I just feel like Logan Paul always feuds with like Rey Mysterio or Ricochet or these small dudes. And I mean, he had his stuff with Roman, but even that was quick. That was out. That was over and done with.
Yeah.
But it just I don't know. I don't know. I don't like either of them. So this week will be interesting on Raw how
Well,
how I feel
Logan
about
goes
that.
against Ray tomorrow when everybody's
Yeah,
listening, because it will be tomorrow. Logan
right.
and Ray are going
Well,
against each other in an elimination chamber qualifying match on Raw. So
which obviously Logan's going to win. Um,
obviously,
so and I am both happy and annoyed by that. So
I'm kind of with Ray in there. I'm sorry.
yeah, it's yeah. I don't. Yeah, it'll whatever. I don't care.
Next match, Elimination Chamber qualifying match, Io Sky versus Liv Morgan.
Yep.
Liv was repeatedly cut off, taken down, and almost beat by Io Sky throughout the entire match. Raquel Rodriguez interfered at some point. Didn't stop Io, though. But what did end up ending this match is when Rhea Ripley came out to try and help Io Sky by getting rid of Raquel Rodriguez, which in turn caused a DQ, and Liv Morgan is going to the Elimination Chamber.
Yeah. Liv Morgan's cackle cracks me up.
I know.
Just when she just starts cackling and running away, it's the funniest thing to me. But it just reminds me of my kids. And but this Rhea thing is kind of funny. It's kind of the same thing with Sammy right now too, you know. But it's kind of funny to me to see Rhea have to deal with this strife a little bit. Like, oh, she's trying to be a superhero to everybody, and she keeps screwing it up. Like it's a classic. It's a classic, you know, internal struggle, but it's dope. It'll be good for her.
And at the end of the match, you did see Rhea trying to apologize to Io, and Io not accepting the apology and brushing past her.
Nor should she.
I don't know. I mean, I'd like to see Rhea versus Io. That'd be a good match.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah, and you may get that at the Chamber or something like that. You know, leading up to, because you gotta have a couple title matches on there. You gotta do something.
All right, we are almost done with Raw. All right, here we go. I had to make my wife write my notes after a little bit because my hand hurt.
Yeah.
I was just telling her what to write. But her handwriting, I swear to God, she should have went to college to be a doctor because she's got the handwriting for it.
Oh.
All right, Seth Rollins promo. He took a great solace in knowing Punk and Reigns didn't win the Rumble and took pride in knowing he injured Reigns with that double-footed freaking curb stomp was vicious. Yep. There was no way to fake that. It was vicious.
Nope.
Just like that. That one was worse than the one on the stairs. You didn't even need the one on the stairs.
No, but it was good you had it. I liked it. Listen, I am here for that. All of that.
He called out Sami Zayn, hyping him up for his Elimination Chamber qualifying match against Punk, basically saying, I need you to beat Punk because I can't beat Punk.
Right.
That's what
that's not what I heard. So
what I heard.
That's not what I heard. I heard him saying, you should probably just take care of Punk so I don't have to do this again. You know, that's all.
Yeah. The segment ended with a brief brawl between Punk and Rollins. To me, the fact that Rollins was making fun of Punk and Reigns for not winning the Rumble and didn't really address that his ass didn't win it either.
But yeah. I mean, there's only one winner.
You all lost.
Right.
Sorry. And then we have the Elimination Chamber qualifying match between Sami Zayn and CM Punk. You know I marked out for this match. You know.
Yep.
20-minute match that Zayn almost eliminated Punk in more than once. Both finishers were reversed multiple times, only to have Punk finally hit Zayn with the GTS. There was a point in this match when Punk has Zayn pushed into the corner, turns his head to the WrestleMania sign, points at it and says, you see that? That's all for me. That's all for me. And I was like, it was a little heelish, but I mean, my neighbors heard me yelling, yes. So
yeah, I mean, that match did get me excited for what's going to come for both of these guys. So, because I don't think Sammy needed to be in there. I think Punk obviously needs to be in there. It's looking a little geriatric, but we're gonna get it. It's looking a little old in that chamber, so it's gonna be a lot of laying around. But we'll see what happens.
After the match, Punk goes to shake Sammy's hand. Punk leaves. Kevin Owens, out of nowhere, wearing a Sami Zayn Forever t-shirt, attacks Zayn from behind, which is crazy because it was just like a week and a half ago where, KO hit Sammy on the chest like, hey, thanks for that Halua kick to Cody. I appreciate that. Now he's attacking
well,
Sammy. KO
he's
has no friend.
I mean, it's this again. This version of KO is the version of KO where if he didn't have anything to complain about, he complained about that. Man, he has to find his enemies somewhere. It's the same thing I do when I'm driving for work. Man, I got to find my enemies on the road to keep me going. So, and Kevin Owens is doing a masterful job of it, and I believe him. Kevin was right. That's all I got to say. Kevin was right this whole time.
I'm just happy Punk won.
Yeah, I know you were. I know at the expense of Sami Zayn's neck and career, you were happy that CM Punk won his match. We know.
He did.
All right.
So,
let's move over to SmackDown, huh?
all right.
So, SmackDown opened up with main event, Jey Uso, and in this one, for the first time, they had an encore, which I thought was dope. A little crazy, and it just kind of again solidifies like who's saying that this man isn't over. That's who is saying that this man isn't over. He had an encore for his music.
Yeah,
right.
That was cool. That was cool. I was
crazy. I mean, honestly, you haven't seen it since like the peak of Fozzy. Like. Like to have an encore, like that's ridiculous. So yeah, and I thought it was a good promo overall. I thought it was better than Raw. It kind of made me feel a little bit better about Jey and his I didn't want him to come out crying again, Yeah. But he was interrupted pretty quick. You had Cody come out after that. Right, and they kind of did a little conversation back and forth with that, and then Mr. Fatu. How'd you feel about? So, I guess my question is, how'd you feel about the Jey Cody interaction? Because I was wondering how they were going to handle that, because they are such good friends, they are close, you would presume.
Yeah.
I mean, they were tag team champs not too long ago.
They were. I
but
to be honest, I think it's kind of just filler and WWE trying to cause a misdirection. Jay's going after Gunther.
Mm-hmm. It's a match we want to see for sure. I know that what Cody said, I did like that. I did like at the end where Cody was like, shake my hand, because if you choose me, it's gonna be the last time, kind of thing. I thought that showed a little killer side to Cody that I think he needs.
Well, Punk addressed it. Cody is going off his rocker a little bit. I like it, because if you remember, Punk, when he started his championship reign, he was a face.
Mm-hmm.
He slowly turned into a heel throughout it. Cody's possibly doing the same thing, and I'd love to see a heel turn.
Heel Cody is the best version of Cody for sure. But it'll be interesting. I really liked the promo this time, because I thought Jey took a step forward in his arc for this. So and then Jacob and Tama Tonga attacking them and setting up that. You obviously knew that was going to turn into what it turned into, and that was the tag match at the end.
Super kick that Jey hit Fatu with, though, was pretty good.
Yeah. Super kick is nasty, and I do like, again, that like Jey is on site at this point, but at the same time, Jacob Fatu is a different animal, and they just keep showing that. They're like, yeah, Jey is going to take the fight to you, Cody's going to take the fight to you, but Jacob Fatu is a different animal.
Oh God,
a bad man.
I got to mark out a little bit. We are, of course, I'm reordering WWE 2K25.
Right, same.
I have spent most of my weekend watching the videos of people, the people that get early access.
Mm-hmm.
All the stuff. We're getting promos back. I've been asking for it for 3 years. Finally getting that back. Different backstage areas, which, Jesus Christ, since 2K19, that was perfect. Why did you change any of it? And now, now it sucks. But what really got me to mark out was in the commercial. Jacob Fatu is in the commercial.
Yes.
I was nervous that he wasn't going to make the cut. And also what I had seen too is Sean Spears is in the game.
Oh,
which I thought he
okay.
showed up late too, and I wasn't sure if he
Yeah.
would make the cut, and he did. So they also confirmed there's going to be over 300 characters in this game, which is the most by a decent margin. So I think we're going to
I
see a
hope.
lot of guys that we didn't think were going to make the cut.
Yeah, I hope that doesn't end up being a bunch of like repeat characters though. Like they do that, they've done that before, where
Like
it's
when we
like
had Seven
15 different.
Undertaker 2 years ago.
Yeah, well, they're gonna do it again because they've got the Dead Man edition, and they're gonna have 6 different Romans, and they're gonna so we'll see what happens. I do know that I am interested to see Jacob Fatu has he's got an Elimination Chamber match coming up right next week. Did I read that correct? I don't remember.
I don't know. I'd have to look back.
Yeah, I'd have to see. I don't remember if he did or not, but I do know if he gets a chance to get into that chamber, like I am very interested in that. And my question to you is, and this is the one that was kind of burning through my mind most of the show, is Jacob more of a main eventer than Solo? Like is he the guy? And
I
then what do you do with Solo?
I would say, yeah, dude, Solo doesn't have much personality.
Yeah,
He was
he's
better
another one.
being the quiet guy in the Bloodline, if you
Mhm.
ask me. Jacob
Yeah,
Fatu is just like you said. He's different. I think that
different.
I think that he's definitely more of a main eventer than Solo. I felt like Solo was getting pushed down our throats after a while.
Yeah, it definitely felt that he was kind of getting that same Roman treatment of just you're gonna take this no matter, and it wasn't even a babyface scenario. It was you're just gonna take this individual and
Yeah,
accept him. And I think Solo's great, and I think that Solo can be great. But again, he's not a talker, so he's got to be put into a situation where he doesn't have to do that very much.
yeah. He's a good wrestler.
Hmm.
Nothing wrong about anything that he does wrestling. I just think he needs more promo work.
Yeah, he tells a great story. So, both these guys. Yeah, I was thinking about that quite a bit. But anyway, so the next situation you had Belair over Piper Niven. And that was a solid match. I wasn't surprised that Belair went over there. It's kind of the same old song and dance when it comes to these two fighting. But every time I keep hoping for more and more out of Piper Niven because I really like her and I think she could be a much bigger star. Maybe not a main event kind of superstar, but bigger.
I agree. And during that match, I did look at Cassie and go, they're lifting up the big people too much. Jordan Grace did it
Yeah,
during the Rumble. Bianca
yeah,
Belair did it on SmackDown. It's like, come on. You can't
yeah.
just have everybody doing these big moves to them. They're supposed to be the immovable
Every
object.
time. Right. Yeah.
Uh,
You can't do it. You can't do it every week. You can't do it for free on SmackDown on the first, on the opening match.
But
So
yeah,
no,
that
I
was my
agree.
big gripe with the match.
Yeah. Otherwise, I mean, it was fine. But I agree with you. I didn't even think about that. They're doing that too much. Um, my notes for this match: pretty deadly over DIY. I didn't really care. I just didn't care. I'm sorry. I didn't really care. I knew it was going to happen. Every time you have a champion in a non-title match, they're going to lose, and it's setting up just silliness right now. They need to
Yeah,
get to what's important: Motor City Machine Guns, Street Profits, and DIY.
yeah.
Not get back. You got a 3-hour show now, boys. You know what I mean? You can start working some of this stuff in, please, because Pretty Deadly over DIY was stupid.
My wife did ask if I could buy one of those shirts. And I was like, you don't want me to wear
I'm surprised you don't have one already.
that.
So personally, personally, um, so the next match that we had, I know I'm going through these pretty quick, but we're running long. So the
People are.
next match that I have Drew over LA Knight and Jimmy. My
Oh,
first thought to this was like, damn, it is rude how much they
I did
keep
write some
pumping.
notes for this.
What's that?
I did write some notes for this match.
Good. But I was to say, I find it just so rude how they keep putting Jay on this big, huge stage and then having Jimmy just keep losing and losing and losing every time while Jay's on this stage. But I guess that's what they did to Jay. I mean, they had him lose a bunch before they had him winning. So,
So what I had was right away during LA Knight's entrance, he gave a PSA about how it's okay for men to cry
Yeah.
and it's good for your mental health and everything. And then he also called Drew McIntyre Drew McIntyre.
Yeah.
And he
Yeah.
said, "Oh wait, hold on, I got to get my stuff in." Now, for those of you that don't remember, maybe missed the last episode, we had
Yeah.
one person say it was Damian Priest, and other people confirm it was somebody, but not name it. It was not Damian Priest. It was LA Knight that was apparently trying to get his shit in, as Drew McIntyre put it. I went back and watched that clip 4 fucking times. That LA Knight standing there, stalking Logan, didn't get in the way of shit. Damian
No.
bumped him a little bit, but the focus was on that elimination.
Yeah.
So
Well,
Drew McIntyre is just that.
the problem is that Drew wants it all about him all the time, and
Yep.
the only problem for Drew right now is that Kevin Owens is doing this better. If it wasn't for that, Drew would be a masterclass right now. But Kevin is doing this so great that he just comes off as a crybaby. So
During the match, too, people thought that there was a little bit of a shoot wrestling fight between LA and Drew McIntyre, but if you slow the footage down, you can see that it's not.
oh, okay. Well,
Um,
anyway, I knew Drew was going to win that for sure. So
apparently the two are good, by the way.
okay,
On a professional level, and as far as I know, a personal level too. They got along with each other backstage, and Drew even confirmed to a source that he has no issues with the promo that LA Knight cut at the beginning of that match, nor does he have any issues with LA Knight. So
that's good. I mean, it's too bad Drew had to do that because this is wrestling, but. Yeah. So anyway, that match was one. I thought it was a good match. I really enjoyed the match as a whole. I thought they really told a good story and played it out in there. And there was like all three of those guys had something, and I liked it a lot. But I knew Drew was going over there.
Well, that spot that they did too with Drew being in the Tree of Woe, and then LA doing that jump up superplex, but then Drew grabs onto LA and fucking suplexes both of the guys off. I thought that was an awesome spot in the match. And I also, not gonna lie, we all knew Drew was gonna win.
Right.
But for how good the match was, it distracted you enough to think that maybe LA was gonna win.
Well, so there was a moment I thought maybe Jimmy was going to sneak in there, and I was like, "That's interesting," wasn't it? But no, it was Drew all the way. This next match was kind of a flyover match, but to me, it's been a very interesting part of the SmackDown kind of deep cuts. But Carmelo Hayes versus Tozawa, and it's Melo don't miss, and Melo's done nothing but miss for weeks now. And he beat up Tozawa like a bully. And they were like, "We're running that match, SmackDown. Let's do that." And my wife and I were talking. She's like, "Can Tozawa wrestle?" I was like, "Tozawa's legit. Like the dude is good." I love when they let him just wrestle and get in there. But the match had to go the way the match went. Carmelo had to win this one. There was no choice. He had to win it. If he didn't, it was done for Carmelo. I
totally agree. There is a lot of people crapping on that match, though, saying that it was not needed. But it kind of was.
It wasn't.
You're addressing.
It was needed for a longer show, and it was needed for them settling their business. And Melo needed a win, and he needed a win against somebody who looked good in the ring. And that's Tozawa. Tozawa looks great in the ring. So, no, I thought it was fine. It was actually my favorite match of the night, to be honest with you. Like, just those two just going at it. I mean, obviously the last match was the last match, but this is where I kind of came to some frustration, and that was the Flair versus Tiffany promo.
Yeah.
I just thought it was flat. Like, I didn't feel anything. I don't know. I was listening to it, and just even listening to it, I'm like, these two don't have chemistry together.
I'd have to listen back to it again, but I don't like the pairing. I don't want Charlotte to go against Tiffany Stratton.
No, I didn't think they were very exciting, But again, it's another situation of the champion coming down and being like, "Pick me, pick me, pick me."
Yeah.
And you're really. I try not to buy into the whole Triple H is doing a disservice to the women's roster thing. Even though there is a lot of evidence that points that way. But he can't keep doing stuff like this. So we'll know about this match. If he makes this match, that's crap. So
Yeah, I like I said earlier, I want Rhea versus Charlotte 3. I want that tie to be broken, and I know
yeah.
they're going to put on a good show, and there's no reason to have Tiffany go against Charlotte.
No, she's on a rise, and let her be on the rise. Then after this, we had Alexa Bliss versus goodness, I'm drawing a blank. Candice LeRae. Candice
Yeah.
LeRae.
Yep.
Silently a really good match. Honestly,
Yeah.
quietly, it was a super good match. I did see Alexa Bliss is sticking with her character, and that was a little bit discouraging, but we'll see what happens.
I think he's going
But
to join the at 6.
I just don't want to see it. I don't
I
want to see
think
it.
he's going to join it and lead it.
Oh well, now I mean, but still, I don't want to see it.
Oh,
It's just I want to see Alexa Bliss do what she just did with Candice LeRae night in and night out, because they're very good together. I mean, and that could be an old school kind of nod rivalry to years not too long ago.
I did see people were upset that Alexa Bliss didn't cut any sort of a promo at all, but I think that's by design. I don't think Alexa is going to talk for a while.
Awesome, yeah, awesome. Let it go. Let her just come out. Let her do her thing. We'll see what happens, but I am still excited about Alexa Bliss. So
Yeah.
it was a good match, and I'm glad it was 1-on-1. I'm glad they didn't do a triple threat like they did with the men. That was those two together, just awesome. So they could have arguably been the best match of the night too.
Yeah.
In my opinion. Then finally we got that main event. The main event with Cody and Jey went over on Fatu and Tamatanga, which of course I don't think anybody expected that to go any other way.
No.
No, but again, good spots, good match, good stuff. All four of those guys have been doing great work, so I didn't expect it to be bad by any means.
No.
But it didn't knock me off my seat. It wasn't a go home show main event, but it was good.
Yeah, it was good. What about after the match?
Yeah, so I tell you what, this I understand now why I can't find any black hoodies anywhere. Because these guys keep using them to come back all the time as if we don't know that that's now you, Solo. Like, it's you every time, man. I'm sick of the black hoodies. I'm sick of the sneak attacks. Like, if you're going to do the sneak attack, fine, but make it mean something. It just doesn't make sense to me here in this spot. Besides the fact that we now know that Jey is not going after Cody. And so that kind of makes it a little bit more intriguing. Like, who is he going to fight at WrestleMania? Because now you got Jacob. Yeah,
I do want to address too. Solo didn't leave with Fatu
Mm-mm.
or Tamatanga. He went his own
No.
way. So I don't think they're with Solo coming back. I don't think he's gonna be a part of this new Bloodline thing. I think Fatu and Tamatanga, when he gets healthy, Tangaloa are gonna start their own thing. And there is, there's been rumors for a while that Zilla is gonna join WWE, and he would be the fourth member for the new Bloodline, and Solo's gonna go off and do his own thing. We'll see.
So I maybe join again. I'm kind of over at this point. I think they've done a good job of making me not care about the bloodline angle anymore. Which it's not a bad thing. I just don't really like. It's like, all right, we can get rid of it now. Which it would have been really hard to do that to me 3 months ago. I would have probably struggled with them just ripping the Band-Aid off. But they've slowly kind of dissipated it a little bit with Solo being gone, and Roman not being around. So. I wouldn't be mad if they just went off and did something different. Like it wasn't a bloodline. It was sure they all get together, but they just did something on their own. And then Solo does his thing for a while, just like Jey is doing his thing and Jimmy's doing his thing. And then maybe they all come back together when the time is right and they do this little civil war again.
What do you think the chances are that Solo goes back with Roman?
Him standing over Cody that way, unless it was by the orders of Roman, I don't think he goes back to Roman. You know what I mean? Unless they come out and say, like, he did this because Roman told me to do it, don't think there's any. Or if he's like, hey, I did this to get back in your good favor. Other than that, I don't see any way he goes back.
I did have one other rumor to address since we're talking about
Okay.
the Bloodline stuff. The Rock actually addressed being angry that people
Mm,
already counted him out of WrestleMania 41 with him
yeah.
saying, "I decide where I'm going to be," and
Yeah.
like, oh shit, are you
Yeah.
confirming it now?
Well,
Are you
they
gonna
may
be it?
they may have goaded him into it, and it's that old school of like saying like you won't do this, like you won't do it, you're not going to do it.
Reverse.
That's pretty much what the international wrestling community just bullied the largest star on the planet into was you ain't gonna do it. Shut up. You're not gonna do it. And he got mad. So
Yeah.
he got mad, and he's not gonna do it. None of this shit points to him doing it. He has blown that up. And from what I hear, he's the reason that they had to stop with a lot of the storylines that were in place, and now it makes so much sense. And I'm going to be very disappointed if that's the case. If that comes out to be the truth, that the Rock, his Brett Favre style waffling back and forth, if that's what caused for this whole what could have been to me cinematic perfection,
Yeah.
and early, I'm going to be pretty upset as a fan. As a fan of the Rock my whole life. So yeah.
I did want to see Rock versus Cody in a singles match, not Bloodline rules, just a
Yeah.
singles match. But
Yeah,
yeah,
I truly wanted to see Roman versus Rock. I know most people didn't, but I really wanted to see that come ahead. I didn't want Cody anywhere near it. I wanted it to be a legit family affair, and maybe we can still get that. And that's what I'm hoping with Roman is we can get a pure family affair, meaning no Cody, no Sami Zayn, none of that. Just a bloodline pure infighting for power, and then it just goes away. Once Roman presumably would win that, now he can just go and be in. It's almost like the Avengers. They bring them all together, they do their thing, and then they can all go back out and make their own movies again.
yeah, I'd like to see that match too. I wouldn't
Yeah,
hate it, and I
well,
think I think that they should save that more for when The Rock is going to be done. Roman retires
right,
him.
right. Yeah, and
But
that's fine. That's fine. I don't need it now. Get the rest of the guys in, get everything kind of set up for it, and slowly behind the scenes, and then give us one solid year of movies. Every month we get another movie. So yeah, I'm into it. Hey, that's it. That's SmackDown, man. That's SmackDown Raw. We did a little fun. We went way long.
yeah, we did.
Um, way long. I'm a little late, so um, I'm
Shit.
gonna. I'm going to wish you guys the best of luck here, these Eagles. I don't know what the Kansas City Chiefs cry is, but I'm sure it's probably not PC.
I think
So,
F whistle is their
listen, I have no horse in this race. Save those. So all I care about is winning these bets that I'm about to put down incessantly here soon. So.
all
All
right.
right, guys. This is it. This will be out. This should be out in time for you guys to see it before Raw. So watch it. I will put our link tree in the bottom in the comment or not comments, but the about section of the video so you guys can see it. But yeah, email us at Kayfabe Marks Podcast at myyahoo.com. You can catch us on Instagram at Kayfabe Marks Podcast. You can catch us on Twitter or X, Kayfabe Marks Pod. You can catch us on TikTok, Kayfabe Marks Pod. I'm going to be working on those during the game, so hopefully we'll get a few of them out before the episode comes out. And then obviously on YouTube. YouTube's the big one for us. Kayfabe Marks Podcast. Spotify and YouTube are the big ones for us. So, you can watch us on both. You can watch us on Spotify too. You can watch us on YouTube. If you don't want to see our ugly mugs, feel free to go on Spotify and say turn video off. And I would fully understand that. Tyler's ugly. So,
It's the beard and it's the fucking hair. I don't know what's going on here.
oh man, I'm loving it. It's very John Cena. All right,
Just
man.
so
Hey,
everybody knows what's under the hat. It's not good.
you got
Nothing good.
anything? You got anything for the people?
Yeah, on socials, Instagram, Twitter, we follow everyone back. So send us a follow, like our shit. We'll follow you back. If you have anything that you'd like to see in any future episodes, contact us, DM us,
Yep.
tell us about it, and we'll talk.
Send us snail mail. I'm not giving you my address, but if you figure it out, send me a letter. It's all good.
Somewhere. That's all I'm telling you.
You said where?
I don't know.
Illinois?
Yes.
Oh, yeah, that's true. That's true. I am in Illinois, Central Illinois. I don't care if you find out where I live. All right. Hey, we love you guys. We'll see you next week. Until then.